Greetings, my friends. Welcome to another Enlightening Moments by Plenitude. Before we start, we would like you, one more time, to hit that like button underneath or subscribe to our channel. If you have any comments, any doubts, any questions that you'd like us to discuss, please feel free to do so. Well, then we would like to ask permission to our superior masters so we can start tonight's readings. We're going to start with the book Our Daily Bread, and tonight we're going to embrace the chapter 27, entitled Crushing Evil. The God of peace will soon crush Satan under your feet. Those are the words of Paul in the letters to the Romans, chapter 16, verse 20. All over the planet, we can recognize the existence of an unstoppable battle without truce between the forces of good and evil. The great conflict manifests in diverse forms, and in the windwhirl of its movements, many sensitive souls invariably maintain themselves in an attitude of evocation to the protective geniuses, so that these might come to the arena to combat the enemies that torment them, in an attempt to overcome them forever. Soliciting help or calling upon the law of cooperation represent laudable actions of the spirit that recognizes its own weaknesses. However, insisting on the aid of others to substitute of the efforts that correspond only to us to dispense displays a false position susceptible of accentuating our necessities. Satan, representing the power of evil in human life, shall be crushed by God. However, Paul of Tarsus quite clearly defines the place of the divine victory. The supreme triumph shall be verified under the feet of men. When a human being, through his own dedication and illuminative labor, dedicates himself to the Father without reserve, effecting his sacrosanct will, forgetting the old animalistic selfishness, and learning the great importance of his eternal spirit, he shall then achieve a sublime victory. Our paternal Father has already dedicated himself to his terrestrial sons, but few are the sons that have dedicated themselves to him. It is indispensable thus not to forget that evil will not be eliminated superficially, but it will be so under the individual feet of each and every one of us. Isn't that empowering? Because we are the sons and daughters of God. We are almighty inside. We have that seed inside our hearts, and it is up to us to be acting, to be active in this battle of the good and evil. We have the knowledge, we have the will, and we have God for us. So with God by us, who will dare to go against us? That's powerful reading, my friends. It inspires me every time. Well, we shall go now to the Gospel according to Spiritism, also chapter 27 tonight, and this one is entitled Ask and It Shall Be Given. I invite you all to read in more detail during the week if you prefer. Here you will learn the quality of prayers, the efficacy of a prayer, the action of prayer, transmission of thought, intelligible prayers, prayer for the dead and the suffering spirits, and in the instructions from the spirits, the way in which to pray, happiness proportioned by prayer. It's a beautiful chapter explaining what is, how is, and the benefits. And it's so easy to be done. I would like to focus tonight's reading on the second part that has the act of prayer, the transmission of thought. And it's a little bit of an extensive reading, but it is very powerful information. Prayer is an invocation through which, by means of thought, man enters in communication with the being to whom he directed himself. This may be for the purpose of asking for something, giving thanks, or as a glorification. We may pray for ourselves or for others, for the living or for the dead. Prayers addressed to God are heard by those spirits who are charged by the execution of His will. And those addressed to God, spirits are referred to God. When someone prays to beings other than God, these are serving as mediators or intercessors, because nothing can happen without God's wishes. In the item number 10, Spiritism makes the act of prayer understandable by explaining how thought is transmitted. Either when the spirit to whom we are praying comes to our help, or when our thoughts raise themselves up to this being. In order to understand what happens in this circumstance, it is necessary to consider all incarnate and discarnated beings as immersed in the universal cosmic fluid which occupies space, as we on earth are immersed in the atmosphere. This fluid receives an impulse from willpower, which is the vehicle of thought, just as air is the vehicle for sound, with the difference that the vibrations of air are circumscribed, whereas those of the universal cosmic fluid extend infinitely. So when our thought is directed to someone either on earth or in space, from an incarnate to a discarnate being or vice versa, a fluidic current is established between them, which transmits the thought from one to the other, just as air transmits sound. And this is because we are energy. We generate this current and we're linked to them. And this is how our prayers, every time we're here together, works. Now imagine how powerful it is if one person is praying with all their love, with all their faith, and it's connected to the source that you're paying for. Imagine all of us tonight in the same time praying for those in need, how powerful this current actually is. So, without further ado, my friends, let's go ahead and start our prayers. I ask you to sit in a very comfortable manner. Let's calm down our breathing. Let's calm down our heart beatings. And let us now focus in all the love that we have to give. It is time for us to give our very best in an act of charity, and together we're going to create this fluidic current emanating as if it were waves, radio waves, coming out of you and traveling through your house, going through the walls of your home, filling the streets of the city you live. This vibration of love, of joy, of faith, of charity touches every living being that you travel, touching the souls of those in need, those who don't know God, those who don't know you, but we know, we understand. We are all part of a huge universal family. We are all together. We are the sons and the daughters of God. Let's continue this vibration, my friends, intensifying, now crossing the city, the states, crossing the oceans, expanded these waves across the continents, and let us now all together encircle this lovely, beautiful little blue planet called Earth, this temporary home, this home in which we are having the opportunity to be incarnated. Our task is right here, right now, and without charity, my friends, we are nothing. Let us vibrate with love, with understanding. Let's touch the hearts of all those men and women in power, for them to be touched by our love, and let them be sensible and sensitive and an open channel of communication with their mentors, their guardian angels, so they can do their tasks, understanding we are all a universal family. No more subjugation, no more greed. Their task to be in power is not for themselves, but for all of us. Let us now vibrate to all those brave men and women who put their lives at risk to save the lives of others. These brave souls, we are so thankful. Let us now pray, folks, with more intensified waves for all of those who are now losing family members, friends, to diseases, to despairs, to emotional disorders, mental illness, and all sorts of stress and desperation. Let us embrace them. These are our brothers and sisters. Let us vibrate with all of our joy, with our love, and with the God inside us. Let us heal them. Thank you. Let us now return to our home, folks. And let us thank this opportunity. And now, in an open heart, we shall receive a shower of fluids that these spiritual friends are now giving to us, so we can have this recharged battery for the week that is coming ahead of us. so we can shine, so we can emanate vibration and energy that touches and inspires every person that we come across, that we ourselves are inspired, that we are truly an example of a Christian soul. Thank you so much, my friends. It is incredibly amazing to be part of this program, this project that came about with all of us and all of you in mind. So please don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Put a like, recommend us to a friend. We all have someone who is going through a difficult time and may need this enlightening words, this message that inspires and certifies and assures us that we're not together. I'm sorry, that we are not alone. We are together. And we thank you one more time. We ask permission to our mentors to now end this episode of Enlightening Moments by Plenitude. We wish you a wonderful week, and we leave you with the promise that we'll see you next week. Thank you.